Hi there. Welcome to the Goal Getter Podcast. We are so glad that you are here. I'm Lindsay, the dreamer and visionary of the business.
And I'm Jordan, the brains of the business, meaning I do all the back end stuff or anything that Lindsay doesn't like doing.
We're a husband and wife duo who took a leap of faith several years ago to embark on this permanent makeup business journey together.
We both worked unsuccessful and unfulfilling jobs before, and now we've turned our business into a thriving six-figure business.
They say you're meant to lead those who were once in your shoes, so that's what we're doing, navigating kids, homeschooling, business, and life together.
But this podcast is about more than just business and permanent makeup. It's about personal growth. We're here to help you conquer your goals, both in your business and in life.
And remember, growth begins when you get outside of your comfort zone.
Does all that sound good? Awesome. Let's dive on in.
What's up, guys?
What's going on? How's everybody doing?
Oh my goodness. Okay, so the topic that we are talking about today is honestly one of the most dreaded topics for me.
Yeah, it's not an easy topic.
No, but why is that a dreaded topic for me?
I think it's because, I think everybody struggles with it.
Yeah, I'm terrible at setting boundaries. That's why I hate this topic so much.
The topic's boundaries.
The topic's boundaries. I don't like boundaries because it makes me have to be accountable. And being accountable is really hard, but boundaries protect our peace. Not only in business, but they protect our peace at home. Mm-hmm. And so boundaries are really hard for me. I've never really been good at setting boundaries. I've learned to get better. But when I first started my business, it was like I would say yes to everything.
Yeah.
And that was really difficult. But let's talk about what boundaries are and what they're not. So boundaries are your priorities, basically.
Where you spend your time.
Yeah, where you spend your time in your business and in life, what's important to you, and what will suffer basically as a consequence if you don't draw boundaries.
Right. They're essentially guardrails. So you have these boundaries in thinking. The biggest one that I think everybody thinks about is your work and your personal, right? Mm-hmm. There's got to be some boundaries set there. Specifically in the service-based industry for beauty, you have your essentially your clients that can reach out to you or communicate with you, mm-hmm. and you have your personal. So I guess first of all, if you don't have that line drawn between hey, this is personal, maybe a phone number, an email, mm-hmm. A way that somebody in your business or who wants your business can get a hold of you, mm-hmm. if there's not that line drawn essentially of this is my personal phone number, email, contact method, and this is my business phone number, email, contact method, then that to me, that's the first line that, mm-hmm. that really needs to be drawn. And I think because when you first started, way back when, the clients had your personal number.
Yep.
It was literally hey, this is Lindsay, this is the only way to get a hold of me. And then, hey, this is Michiana Microblading, this is the only way to get a hold of me as well.
Yeah. So we learned very early on in our marriage, and with me starting this business, I need to get a work phone number. And I didn't want to. Who wants to carry two phones? We've got 4 phones sitting in front of us right now. Who wants that? Nobody does. But the problem is it's boundaries. And it's at 9:00 at night, we're laying in bed watching a movie, mm-hmm. Snuggling, whatever. And then I get a text message from a client that's hey, I want to book an appointment tomorrow. And I'm okay, and Jordan's what the heck are you doing? You can't do that. You need boundaries. And I'm it's fine. And it's no, it's not. It's not fine because he didn't like it. So that was a hard adjustment for me. But once I did that, I was able to put my phone aside and not answer people after business hours. And to this day, I struggle with that even a little bit because I really like to be prompt. It's good customer service to be prompt.
Right.
But the problem is when you start going past and going outside of those boundaries, then your clients get used to that. And mm-hmm. you need to train your clients. You really need to train them that between the hours of 10 and 6, that's time when you will get back to them. And then on the weekends, it's not happening. Or if they text you at 4:00 in the morning or 6:30 at night, at 6:03 at night, and you close at 6:00, then no, you're not going to get a response from me. And we always tell our clients, give us 24 to 48 hours to get back, because sometimes we are playing assistant, but we're also in the studio servicing our clients too. So clients need to understand that there's a work-life balance that needs to be respected. And most clients do respect that, but you will have your clients who don't respect that. And we've had clients like that too. Everybody does. And so that's what's really difficult.
It's also like it's a mindset. You kind of hinted on it a little bit earlier, that you're worried that if you don't get back to your client like immediately or within, an hour or 2 hours or whatever the case may be, you're worried that they're going to go somewhere else,
right,
or that they're going to go pursue other options, or they might even actually go book another appointment because that person got back to them so fast.
Right.
And it's not a good way to look at it, because essentially I think, maybe you lose the client because somebody got back to him faster, but your mentality, your like sharpness, your ability to disconnect is what's going to keep you in the game longer. If you continue to push those boundaries and continue to make exceptions, or say, oh, it's just this one time, it's not a big deal, then it might not be a big deal that time. But when you continue to do that over and over and over again, eventually a year, 2, 5 years down the road, you're going to be burned out, and you're going to be like, I don't have any boundaries. Clients contact me all the time, and I still feel like I have to reply immediately.
Yeah. And it's funny you bring that up, because that was actually an issue in my business and in our marriage at the time, because we had that happen. We had clients reach out to us and I'd get back to them. And then, all those things that you're saying happened to us, which is why we've learned to set these boundaries so that we can have a good marriage outside of our business.
Yeah.
And even though that's really hard for us to separate most of the time, we have to set boundaries. And, we do a pretty good job at that now.
Yeah.
So it's really funny you say that, because that was my number one thing when I was telling you, hey, I have to get back to these clients right away, because they're going to go somewhere else if they don't. I was the first person to bring microblading to the area, and there was someone else who joined shortly after I brought it to the area, and I didn't want to lose a client. But my mindset was, I have to get everybody. I have to have everyone come in. And that's just not the right mentality. There's plenty of people to go around to all artists. And so you're going to attract a certain type of client, and another artist is going to attract a certain type of client. And so for me, you kind of helped me see that. Like when I was worried about losing a client, it was more of like, hey, that's kind of weeding that client out for you. That might not be a client you want. If they really don't want you to do their service and they're fine with anybody doing their service, you probably don't really want that client, because they're not really going to fully trust you, because they are just kind of like, whatever, so it kind of gives you the opportunity for those people just to weed themselves out. And then you just have to be okay with not having that client, and okay with losing that client potentially.
Yeah. So the biggest things, I think, and we're going to maybe just go through some lists. I think some things that we have found to be very helpful in defining our boundaries. And the biggest thing, I think, is then to have boundaries is to just set your priorities. So what are your priorities? What do you essentially value, right? So maybe if you have, a family, you have kids, maybe you have, some hobbies or some specific time that you like to totally unplug from your work or your business, then definitely jump into those and make sure that when you're having that time, make sure that it's just specifically for that time. It's not like that time and work, or family time and work. Defining those priorities will really help.
Yeah. And we've started to stop working every day at about 5 or 5:30, sometimes 6 o'clock, but really between that 5 and 5:30 mark. And it's really hard for us to do that. But we've started to do it because we start to see our kids being affected by it in different ways, which can be another topic for another time. But also on Sundays is a total day of rest for us. Yeah. We don't touch work. I think resting for people in general is really difficult, but that's a boundary that we've had to set on Sundays. No work. We're not going to the studio. We're not going to clean or set things up at the studio. We're not doing any type of work at all. We are resting. We are being present with our kids. we're being together and not talking about work, as hard as that is even too. And so, it's like one thing that I think was hard for me when I was working and saying yes to all these projects and all these things and saying yes to all these people is not only did I get burnt out very quickly because I was working all the time, but my clients were not getting a good version of me.
Right.
They were getting a lesser, tired, exhausted, drained version of Lindsay. And that version is not fun to be around. Is it?
It's okay.
No one is. No one, you're so sweet. No one's fun to be around when they're drained, tired, exhausted, and irritated, and it's like one of those things where you have to really try your hardest to create boundaries so that your boundaries are good for yourself and they're good for the people that are around you too.
Right.
When you have boundaries and when you don't have boundaries, it bleeds into your home life too. And we found that out.
You're at your best self when you're fully rested. First of all, nobody else can be you, but then to be your best self, you have to be rested. You have to have that time away from your work or your business to be able to recharge, refocus, and essentially generate new things. I know for me, so many times I find that when I'm away, when I set that boundary and say, okay, hey, I'm done at this time, so many times that re-energizes me to get back into the business then, as opposed to the draw of thinking, if I just get, one more email marketing done, or if I just get one more graphic done, or if I just get one more hour done of work, sometimes that hour ends up pushing me over the edge. And then like Lindsay said, you experience just this exhaustion, this burnout, and you're not your best self when you're in that state.
And good ideas for your business don't come from pure exhaustion. A lot of times, being an entrepreneur, being a high performer, you have to take time away. You have to step away from the mundane, from the everyday, have to do this, have to do that, have to do that. And it's like when you take a step back and you take time off, a lot of times you're so refreshed that your good ideas are sparked during that time off. And that's where I feel like a lot of our good ideas have come from conferences where we've taken time off. Yes, we're going to work, but we're taking time off from doing everything that we normally do. And we get to learn new things and try new things and have this spark and this, igniting fire relit within us, which is always so fun to experience. So although boundaries are hard, they're hard to set, they're hard to maintain, they're hard to prioritize. And it's really just hard to admit that we have a boundary problem, just in general. It is for me.
It's always hard to admit a problem.
Yeah, but in general, setting boundaries is a major stumbling block for people. And so if you are someone who experiences burnout or you are burnt out right now, think about all the things that you're doing. It might be time for you to hire help. If you're that busy where you can't stop working, you may need to hire an assistant, someone to manage your social media for you, someone to throw some email marketings together for you. That is something that really helps us with burnout too, because we can't do things all on our own. And entrepreneurs wear all the hats. We're doing all the things. Yeah. And you just can't do that for too long before you experience burnout. So if you guys are, like I said, burnt out, experiencing that right now, or our story and some of these examples, are familiar to you, then make sure that you're taking a step back and turning off your phone or turning off your email at a certain time every single day. Take the weekends off, step outside, get some fresh air, and really just recoup a little bit and rest.
Yeah. And we'd love to hear, what new boundaries maybe you're going to set. So down in the comments down below the podcast, drop some there. Let us know, hey, listen to your podcast. I'm going to start, doing X, Y, and Z, and this is how I'm going to do it. We'd love to hear the input that you guys are going to make the change in your life for boundaries.
Yeah, and if you guys do set boundaries and you find that this has been really helpful for you, then give us feedback, because it's always fun to speak to people who are going through the same things that you are so that you can relate to them. So thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next time.
Take care.